It's not very often that you find a gaming laptop that is not overpriced. And honestly, this might be one of the best bang for your bucks when it comes to gaming laptops that I've ever seen. This gaming laptop has an RTX 5070 in it, and it starts at the price of $1,300. Now, to give you an idea, every other laptop that has an RTX 5070 in it starts around $1,800 to $2,200. Now, to be fully transparent, this video is sponsored by Thunderobot, and they asked me to show you this Storm 17 gaming laptop. But they're not telling me what to say or what to do when it comes to this gaming laptop. I'm basically testing it like I do with every gaming laptop that I get, and the value this gaming laptop is going to give you is unbelievable. So if you're in the market for a laptop that's actually affordable, but yet it gets you the latest hardware and incredible performance, then you might want to check this one out. Unboxing wise, you're going to be getting the charger, which is a 180 watt charger. Honestly, this thing is like third of the size of the normal chargers that I've used for gaming laptops, so this was a pleasant surprise. You obviously get the manual and some warranty information, but then the laptop itself is actually packed really well. It is wrapped in foam on both sides and it's packed tightly. It's also wrapped in plastic around the screen, and it has a keyboard padding cover, which all of those things are good signs for shipping a laptop. Now, right out of the box, the build quality feels solid. The laptop is made out of a high quality plastic material, and there's almost no flex on the laptop, which is surprising. I tried flexing the screen, it's a little bit flexible, which is good, but then pushing on the keyboard, there was really no wobble or no bending, which is also good. The hinges that connect the monitor to the body are extremely stable and solid. And yes, you can open this laptop using one hand. Bringing me to the weight. The weight of this laptop is around 6 pounds, which is hefty, but for a 17-inch gaming machine, this is actually not bad at all. Now, design-wise, I am actually a huge fan of this futuristic design that is carried across the entire build. On the back with the RGB cutouts and the logo, and it even goes to the trackpad design and the ventilation. But overall, the build and the design feels high quality. Moving on to the screen of the Storm 17, this is a 17.3-inch display with the resolution of 2560 by 1440p with a 165Hz refresh rate, and it does cover 100% of the sRGB gamut, and it has a high contrast of 1000 to 1. And honestly, I have no complaints about this display. I tried gaming on it for a few hours and I really like the colors. They pop really well. Now, honestly, this is not like an OLED display or something crazy, but for what you're paying, you're getting a really good value here, especially with 165Hz, so you're going to be getting buttery smooth gameplay. Not to mention it has this matte finish on the display to help with reflections or viewing angles. Now let's talk about the keyboard and trackpad. This keyboard is massive. Obviously, with a 17-inch laptop, you are going to be getting the numpad on the right side, which I personally am a huge fan of it. If you type a lot and if you use like numbers, this is very useful. You can obviously turn it off at the top of the keyboard. The keyboard itself does have RGB, but it does not have per key RGB, so you can change the color for the entire keyboard, not per key. And when you do change the color of the RGB, it does change the entire laptop on the back and on the keys at the same time. You can obviously change the brightness from 1 to 4 or turn it off completely, but it is well lit and it's nice to have RGB at this price point. And typing on the keyboard feels pretty tactile, and the keys have a decent amount of travel. Here's a quick sound test for you guys. Now, the trackpad is surprisingly large for this gaming laptop. It has a really good feel where it's smooth, but it's not too smooth where you don't know where your finger's going on the trackpad. It's just the right consistency, and the clicks are pretty prominent, so you know when you're clicking and when you're not. So I'm a huge fan of how big this trackpad is. Now let's talk about the I/O and battery life. When it comes to I/O and connectivity, it provides a ton of options here. You're going to be getting 2 USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A USBs, a Type C connection, an RJ45 Ethernet port, an HDMI port, a mini display port, and a Kingston lock slot, so you can still lock this machine if you're in a library or something like that, which is really nice to see because you're getting a lot of connectivity on this laptop. And I personally like that they had some of the ports on the back of the laptop, not just on the side, especially when it comes to powering the laptop. I personally prefer when the charging port is on the back of the laptop and not on the side, because I tend to always mess that cable up on the side, and when it's on the back, I feel like it won't be touching it as much. So personally, I'm a huge fan of having some of the ports on the back of the laptop. And it does have a Wi-Fi 6 chip, so you're going to be getting blazing fast speeds when it comes to gaming over Wi-Fi and low lag as well. And I did do a Wi-Fi test speed, and we were getting around 800 megabits per second, which is awesome over Wi-Fi. Now, moving on to the battery size of 53 watt per hour battery, which is not extremely large, but it's a decent size. But I highly recommend it when it comes to any gaming laptop. Always play with the PC plugged in, because you can get the best performance out of your components. Now let's talk about the specs on something unique that Thunderobot does. The unit that I have in front of me has a 10-core Intel i7 13620H CPU With an RTX 5070 laptop edition, we are getting 16 gigs of RAM DDR5 running at 3200 MHz and half a terabyte SSD. Now, this is just the entry level, but the spec that I have is the cheapest option they offer at $1,300 with the RTX 5070 in it. The nice thing is you get a ton of options to choose from when it comes to RAM and storage without charging you so much. You can even go up to 64 gigs with 2 TB of SSD for $1,600 with the same other specs, which is pretty incredible. And honestly, I have not seen one gaming laptop brand that does this, where they offer so many options when it comes to spec options. And the best part is you don't even have to buy the upgraded specs from them. You can literally open the back of this laptop, add more SSD, and upgrade the RAM just like this, because it's not soldered into the actual motherboard, but you can just swap those out very quickly. And you can even add an M.2 SSD to the motherboard without having to replace your main SSD that has Windows on it. So specs and upgrading wise, this laptop is top notch. Now moving on to thermals and stress testing, the fan layout on this motherboard is actually really good. They have pure copper pipes going from the middle all the way to the fans, and they have 2 high-speed fans on the sides that are actually not too loud, and you'll hear them later in this video, but they basically pull air from both sides and exhaust it from the sides and from the back of the laptop, where there's a lot of openings for the airflow. With that said, I booted up Cinebench 23 and I ran the test, and the laptop got as loud as this, which is incredibly normal for a laptop, and we were seeing temperatures of up to 98 Celsius on the CPU, which do not stress out about that. That is incredibly normal for a gaming laptop. I know a lot of people freak out when they see temperatures that high, but gaming laptops run hot, and that is okay. And they're meant to handle the heat well. I let the Cinebench stress test run all the way to the end, and this CPU got us a score of 12,885, which is what we expect for this CPU, so that's good. Okay guys, the first game we're going to be testing is Fortnite. Right now we're in performance mode. We are at 70% resolution and with the settings turned to epic. Let's see what kind of FPS we can get. We're going to go Fortnite OG. Okay, we can start hearing the fans ramping up, but it's not too bad. The game's running smoothly. We are seeing 200 FPS right now in the pre-game. Honestly, it's kind of really good. Temperatures right now, we're seeing CPUs at 80 degrees and GPUs at 68 degrees, which is pretty decent. Okay, in the battle bus, we are at 400, oh my gosh, 500 FPS right here. So let's see what we can get on the ground in performance mode. The game still looks really good, so this is very promising. The fan is ramping up. You can hear it probably through the microphone. Here's a quick test of how loud it is next to it. We are on the ground right now and we are hitting 350 FPS in performance mode, which is pretty incredible. The game looks really good on epic settings and performance. So obviously you can turn up the settings to higher than this and get probably like 100 to 200 FPS, which we'll do shortly. The fan noise is running pretty loud, but the temperatures are not too bad. The CPU is at 85 degrees and the GPU is at 75 degrees, which is honestly a lot better than other gaming laptops that I've tried. Now I changed the settings just a little bit to medium to high with DLSS on, and we jumped immediately to 160 FPS, and the gameplay looks really good. This is my recommendations for any laptop, not just this laptop. I wouldn't play on the highest settings just because you won't really be getting all the FPS you can get from this game, but we are getting 130 FPS right now and the gameplay looks really good still. Super smooth. I am terrible at this game, so I'm not going to try to act like I know what I'm doing, but this is mainly just for testing. But yeah, it's 160 FPS, which is awesome. Now the question is, can it run Cyberpunk? Let's test that out. First of all, the fans are cranking right now. The GPU temperatures are 80 degrees and the CPU is 80 degrees too, which is honestly not that bad for a laptop. Right now I have the settings at native resolution, no frame generation and no ray tracing enabled, and we are getting around 60 FPS. Sometimes we're peaking up into 70 FPS, which is definitely playable. Like, this is very normal for story mode, and honestly this is pretty good experience when it comes to gaming. But yeah, we're getting anywhere between 50 to 70 FPS depending on the view that we're looking at, which is definitely playable. Now let's turn on DLSS and ray tracing and see what we can get. I'm just gonna put this quick preset to ray tracing low, which will use DLSS super resolution, and ray tracing will be turned on to low settings. I don't think it can run the game really high. And the FPS that we're seeing right now is 70 FPS with ray tracing, which is pretty incredible. And ray tracing looks really good. So 70 to 80 FPS. So we jumped around 15-20% of performance, which is good. Now, if we turn off ray tracing and just keep on DLSS, we immediately jump to, doesn't make any difference. Okay, still the same FPS. So I guess DLSS doesn't make a difference when it comes to ray tracing in this sense. Let's turn on frame gen. Okay, DLSS frame gen is turned on. Same kind of FPS. Okay, never mind. We're at 80 now. 80 to 90 FPS. The game looks really good. Still looks really good. Any of the settings that I've changed, the gameplay still looks really good and it's super smooth. Cyberpunk 2077, it can run it. Okay, right now we're in Black Ops 6. I have the settings on medium to high. Now let's turn on DLSS and see what we get. Okay, same settings. I'm not changing anything. Just going to quality. I'm turning on upscaling to DLSS and we're going to turn on frame generation by DLSS. So let's see. see a little bit of stuttering until it figures out what settings it needs to run. All right, 155 FPS, which is amazing. I died right there. Okay, yeah, now we're talking. Game's smooth. Honestly, it looks the same, I'm not gonna lie. On this side of the screen, it's really hard to tell when frame generation is happening, but the game is running at 150 FPS, which is pretty ridiculously good, which makes me feel that this will be able to run Battlefield 6 to kind of similar settings because kind of have the same resolution and specs, but Call of Duty Black Ops 6 conquered. So in my opinion, if you're in the market for a gaming laptop but don't want to spend like 2 to 3 grand, but you still want good performance, not like barely getting any FPS, I highly recommend checking out the Storm 17, and obviously I'll leave all the links down below in the description. And thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.